What if the silence of forgotten places isn't really empty? Imagine, buried deep beneath layers of concrete and time, under the rusting fences of some long-abandoned military base, there's a secret, but not a secret about human wars. Something much, much bigger. A cosmic connection. We've all heard the whispers, right? Those chilling stories that stick to these lonely outposts. Tonight, though, we're going deeper than ever. Forget what you think you know. The truth that might be hiding out there is more profound, and maybe even more unsettling, than any conspiracy theory you've ever heard. Abandoned military bases. Just saying the words paints a picture, doesn't it? Decay. Secrets left to rot in the dark. These were places where big national dreams once roared to life, now just crumbling buildings and windswept runways. All over the world, hundreds, maybe thousands of these places lie quiet. Each one is a silent reminder of changing politics, new technology, or just good old budget cuts. Most of the time, closing a base is pretty straightforward, a strategic shift or a way to save money. The U.S. Base Realignment and Closure Process, or BRAC, for instance, that's seen over 350 bases shut down since the late 1980s, all to be more efficient and save us taxpayers some cash. Still, some of these sites, and plenty that are still active, have a vibe that's way beyond just being shut down. They become magnets for speculation, for whispers about stuff happening there that goes way past normal warfare or tech development. And nowhere is this stronger than with the legend of Area 51. Tucked away at Groom Lake in the Nevada desert, Area 51 has been ground zero for alien conspiracy theories for decades. The CIA only officially admitted it existed in 2013, saying its job was testing advanced spy planes like the U-2 and the SR-71 Blackbird during the Cold War. The crazy secrecy around these projects, plus stories from people like Bob Lazar back in 1989, who said he worked on reverse engineering alien craft at a nearby spot called S4, really cemented Area 51's place in our modern folklore as the spot for ET secrets. Now, Lazar's claims have been pretty widely debunked, but the myth? That lives on. Many UFO sightings people reported nearby in the 50s and 60s, once thought to be alien ships, were later explained by the CIA as test flights of these high-flying aircraft, an unexpected side effect of keeping them so secret. The U.S. government's more recent dealings with unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, has only thrown more fuel on that fire. The Pentagon, through its All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, has put out reports and held briefings. They've admitted to numerous UAP sightings by military folks that they just can't explain. While these official reports, including a big historical review from March 2024, have consistently said they've found zero verifiable proof of alien tech or government cover-ups, the fact that they're even acknowledging it and that some cases just don't have easy answers keeps us all hooked. Recent UAP reports are still cataloging sightings. Many get chalked up to everyday objects, but a small number are still labeled truly anomalous or unexplained. The Pentagon is even looking into new ways to track and manage these confidential reports, which tells you they're still taking this pretty seriously. So, it's with all this official secrecy, lasting legends, and those tantalizing, unsolved government reports in the background that our journey really starts. While actual archaeological digs at abandoned or active military bases usually turn up bits of much older human history, like ancient campsites, Roman forts, or Bronze Age tombs, you can't help but wonder, could something more, out there, be hidden? For our speculative trip tonight, we're heading to a place we'll call Observation Post Kestrel. You won't find this on any declassified map. It's not a real named spot. Kestrel is our stage, really, a blend of all those countless forgotten, rumor-filled military sites scattered across the globe. It stands for the what if. What if one of those bases, abandoned not just for money reasons but maybe because of something found there, held a secret far older than any Cold War project? Picture a team, our team of investigators. They're drawn in by whispers and sketchy clues. Maybe an old, blacked-out report, a former serviceman's cryptic deathbed confession, or weird energy readings picked up by a satellite over some desolate off-limits zone. Their target? The The long-abandoned Observation Post Kestrel. Decades have rolled by since it officially closed, the reasons lost in some bureaucratic filing cabinet under strategic obsolescence. Nature's already started taking it back, with crumbling concrete and rusting metal slowly giving way to weeds and weather. Getting in means being quiet and careful. The perimeter fence, even though it's broken in places from time and neglect, still feels like it means business. Like it once guarded secrets fiercely. Our investigators, loaded with gear for exploring and documenting, carefully make their way through the decaying buildings on the surface. Barracks rooms with personal things scattered around, looking like people left in a hurry. Mess halls with tables still set for a meal that never got eaten. Command centers filled with banks of dead equipment, screens dark, their purposes long forgotten. The air is heavy. You can smell the damp concrete, rust, and something else, an almost unnoticeable hum, a stillness that feels charged. Every shadow seems to play tricks on your eyes. Every gust of wind whistling through a broken window sounds like a whispered warning. This is what urban explorers often feel in places like this. That deep sense of history, of lives lived, and the unsettling quiet of a place totally abandoned. But our team isn't just here for what's on the surface. Their info, sketchy as it is, points them downward into the underground levels of Kestrel. Lots of military bases, especially those built when tensions were high, have huge underground areas, bunkers, storage, command centers built to survive an attack. Kestrel, in our story, is just like that. Finding how to get to these deeper levels is the first hurdle. A collapsed staircase here, a deliberately sealed elevator shaft there. Finally, they find a service tunnel hidden under a forgotten maintenance shed, its entrance choked with junk. As they clear it out and head down, the temperature drops. The sounds of the world above fade away, replaced by the drip of water, the skittering of unseen critters, and the echo of their own footsteps in the heavy darkness. The deeper they go, the more the place changes. The plain concrete of the upper sublevels starts to give way to sections that feel older, much more heavily reinforced, their purpose way less obvious. Doors, thick steel and blast-proof, hang open or are sealed with locks that don't make any sense. It's down here in these deep forgotten guts of Observation Post Kestrel that our story takes a sharp turn, from just exploring an abandoned military site to uncovering something that blows every idea of what such a place could hide right out of the water. The team pushes on, feeling like they're about to find something huge, maybe something that changes everything, a discovery that goes far beyond the usual historical stuff you find at these sites. Miles of cables, dead now, hang like snakes along corroded gantries. Ventilation shafts, choked with decades of dust, look like silent watchers. The layout gets less logical, more like a maze. It's pretty clear this part of Kestrel wasn't in the original plans, or if it was, only a very select few knew what it was for. The investigators notice weird construction materials in some areas, alloys that their tools can't even scratch. A level of craftsmanship that seems totally out of sync with when the base was supposedly operating. And then, they find it. A chamber, totally different from any other. Its entrance wasn't just sealed, it was hidden, behind a section of false wall that only really fancy scanning equipment, or maybe just pure luck guided by their cryptic clues, could have possibly found. The air inside is different. Completely still, and with a faint, almost metallic smell, but without that cloying dampness of the tunnels around it. And the walls are covered in symbols. This isn't graffiti, not military codes, not any known human language, ancient or modern. These are intricate geometric patterns, etched deep into the strange, dark material of the chamber itself. Lines cross at impossible angles. Curves flow with an alien kind of grace, and clusters of what look like ideograms or logograms are arranged in complex sequences. There's a stunning precision to them, a clear feeling of deliberate communication. Just imagine it. The beams from the investigators' flashlights dancing across these mysterious carvings. There's this palpable sense of awe, mixed with a creeping feeling of unease. This discovery is so far beyond anything normal, it's almost unbelievable. These aren't carvings from some forgotten native tribe who happened to live here before the base was built. The location, deep inside a secure military facility, and the totally alien look of the symbols themselves point to something else entirely. The team starts the painstaking job of documenting everything. High-resolution photos, 3D laser scans, taking samples of the environment. Every tiny detail is vital. They notice the symbols aren't painted or just scratched on the surface. They're part of the very structure of the chamber walls, almost like the walls themselves were grown or formed around this information. There's no sign of tool marks as we'd know them. This hypothetical discovery in our Kestrel story immediately brings to mind the huge challenge of xenolinguistics, the theoretical study of alien languages. If we humans actually got a message from ET, how would we even start to understand it? SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, has been thinking about this for ages. Would a language like that be based on universal things like math or physics? Or would it be so completely different from how humans think that it would be impossible to translate? The symbols in the Kestrel chamber are exactly that kind of deep puzzle. They're clearly intelligent, clearly structured, but also completely alien. The initial emotional hit on our fictional team is staggering. This isn't just some old, forgotten military secret. If these markings are what they look like, a message, a record, maybe a warning from an extraterrestrial intelligence, then Observation Post Kestrel has just become the single most important place on Earth. The implications are almost too huge to wrap your head around. This would rewrite human history, our understanding of our place in the cosmos, absolutely everything. And it's lying here, hidden for who knows how long, beneath a crumbling military outpost, a silent, cryptic testament to a presence from beyond our world. The challenge now for our investigators is to get past the awe and start the daunting task of trying to unlock the meaning hidden in these unearthly encrypted signs. Finding the symbol chamber under Observation Post Kestrel is just the start. Now, for our narrative team, comes the massive task of trying to decode it all. How do you even begin to tackle a language that has no shared history with us, no Rosetta Stone, no common point of reference with any human language? The symbols are beautiful, complex, and frustratingly unreadable. In our fictional scenario, the team would first try the most basic kinds of code breaking. They'd look for how often symbols repeat. Are certain symbols used more than others, like how E is common in English? They'd search for sequences, for groups that might mean words or ideas. They'd analyze the geometry. Do the angles mean something? Do the ratios between parts of a symbol match up with mathematical constants like pi or the golden ratio? These are the basic first steps in trying to decode any unknown script. But here, with an alien source, every assumption is up in the air. The investigators would bring in hypothetical experts, linguists who know all about ancient and undeciphered languages, mathematicians who are geniuses at spotting patterns, even astrophysicists and cosmologists who might recognize abstract pictures of stars or laws of physics. It's worth saying that in the real world, xenolinguistics is mostly theory, and how you'd actually decipher a truly alien script is all pretty speculative. There's no scientific rulebook for this. Claims you hear in some fringe theories about certain geometries or energies being keys to alien languages. They don't have a scientific leg to stand on. Our team's approach would be more like a very careful, even if highly speculative, research project. Days would turn into weeks in their isolated makeshift lab near Kestrel, or maybe in a secure off-site place if they managed to get themselves and their data out without anyone noticing right away. The symbols are digitized, blown up, run through algorithms. They'd compare them to huge databases of human symbols. Everything from ancient cuneiform and Egyptian hieroglyphs to tribal markings and even modern signs, looking for any coincidental similarities, no matter how tiny, that might give them a small way in. Mainstream archaeology, for example, confirms the Giza pyramids were tombs built by ancient Egyptians, not alien landing pads, and their hieroglyphs are pretty well understood. Any connections some theorists draw to alien languages are speculative and not backed by evidence. So, our team isn't expecting to find Egyptian hieroglyphs here, but they are looking for any basic principles of language that might just be universal. Imagine how frustrating that would be. Dead end after dead end. Patterns that look promising at first just turn into random noise when they look closer. The sheer alienness of the grammar, the unknown cultural background baked into the symbols, makes it almost impossible to break through. Are these historical records, scientific data, philosophical ideas? A warning. The why behind the message is as much a mystery as the message itself. Then maybe a tiny breakthrough, small and uncertain. One of the mathematicians on this hypothetical team notices a set of symbols that keeps appearing with what could be drawings of star constellations, but not as they look from Earth now. The patterns seem to line up with known star positions from a super distant past, or maybe as seen from a completely different spot in the galaxy. This is a huge speculative leap, of course, within our story. Another investigator, focusing on the math, might spot sequences that seem to represent prime numbers, or ratios that are fundamental to how atoms are built. These are things some SETI researchers have suggested might be the basis of a message between stars, since they should be universal. Every tiny piece of possible understanding is like finding a single letter in a massive, unreadable library. The process is incredibly slow, filled with the danger of getting it wrong, of seeing human ideas in something utterly non-human. The team would argue endlessly. Is that symbol a noun or a verb? Does this sequence mean a quantity or a quality? Is the overall tone friendly, indifferent, or threatening? The psychological pressure on our fictional investigators would be intense. They're wrestling with a secret that could redefine humanity, yet they're isolated, racing against time, and constantly afraid of an outside world that is completely unprepared for what they're uncovering. The Kestrel symbols aren't just an academic puzzle. They're a silent, powerful presence, and their meaning could unlock profound truths or unleash unimaginable chaos. The weight of this potential knowledge, the sheer effort of trying to bridge the mental gap between humans and whoever made these signs, would be a huge part of their struggle. Observation Post Kestrel, once a place of human secrets, has become the keeper of a secret that makes all others look tiny. As our fictional team of investigators keeps slogging away, trying to decipher those alien symbols from deep inside Observation Post Kestrel, bits and pieces of meaning start to come together, like looking at a shattered alien mirror. It's not a straightforward translation, no simple A or B code. Instead, it's like they're painstakingly assembling concepts, guessing at relationships, spotting recurring themes that begin to paint a picture so huge in scope that it's initially mind-bending. The sections they first thought were astronomical. They don't just point to distant pasts or different viewpoints in space. They seem to map out galactic structures, not just star clusters, but maybe pathways, currents of cosmic energy, or even a kind of map of interstellar neighborhoods. Again, this is how our story interprets it. Real-world astronomy hasn't confirmed galactic-scale energies that can be controlled or used for travel, like some theories suggest. The symbols here, in our Kestrel narrative, hint at a deep understanding of how the galaxy works, way beyond what humans know now. Other sequences of symbols, the ones that seem to hint at math, start to look less like simple number lists and more like parts of complex equations. These equations, if the team's speculative interpretation is on the right track, don't just describe the physics of the universe as we understand it. They seem to point towards ways of manipulating energy, of bending space-time that are currently pure science fiction for us. Maybe they're alluding to zero-point energy or controlled gravity, ideas that, if real and usable, would change absolutely everything. The more the team deciphers, or rather, the more they think they re-deciphering, the more a central theme starts to pop out. Cycles. Huge, overarching cycles. Cycles of stars being born and dying. Cycles of planets forming. And, most disturbingly, what look like cycles of civilizations appearing, thriving, and then collapsing all across the galaxy. The Kestrel message in this interpretation isn't a one-time hello. It's more like a colossal timeless archive, or maybe a warning beacon tracking the rise and fall of countless species across cosmic ages. There are no direct mentions of Earth-specific ancient civilizations. No maps pointing to the Giza pyramids saying, "We built this." That kind of obvious, undeniable link is the stuff of less subtle theories. Instead, the Kestrel symbols in our story might hint at fundamental cosmic principles or advanced astronomical knowledge that, if any ancient culture on any planet had it, could lead them to build sophisticated calendars, line up buildings with stars, or develop unique mathematical ideas. The shocking truth starting to emerge for our investigators is not that aliens directly built ancient wonders on Earth, but that the universe might be governed by patterns and knowledge that advanced civilizations, wherever they pop up, might discover on their own, or be subtly guided towards. The symbols seem to tell stories, not about individuals, but about entire species. They show, in very abstract but increasingly understandable ways, different forms of life, different evolutionary paths, different kinds of societies. Some achieved travel between stars, some mastered their environments, some, it looks like, destroyed themselves. The message has an air of detached observation, like a history book written by an ancient, perhaps rather sad, intelligence. A key part of the slowly emerging story within the symbols is the idea of observers, or travelers. They aren't shown as gods or conquerors, but maybe as galactic archivists, explorers, or even sowers of knowledge, subtly nudging young civilizations. The decipherment hints that humanity's own development might have been one such observed, perhaps even periodically minutely influenced, path among countless others. This sounds a bit like a common trope in ancient alien theories, but in our Kestrel story, it's presented as one way to read these complex alien texts, not as a proven historical fact. The team really struggles with this. Is this history? Prophecy? A database? The fact that there's no clear sender makes it even more profound. Was this chamber a library left by a long-dead civilization? Is it an automated beacon, still silently transmitting its message? Or are the observers still out there? The Kestrel symbols don't offer easy answers, only more and more questions, each one more unsettling than the last. The abandoned military base has coughed up a message that seems to suggest humanity is just a young kid on a very old, very crowded cosmic stage. The climax of the fictional decipherment at Observation Post Kestrel doesn't hit like a lightning bolt. It's more like a slow, dawning realization, a vast, intricate picture coming into focus one pixel at a time. The team, wiped out but totally driven, pieces together the scattered clues, the astronomical data, the mathematical sequences, and what they believe are narrative passages hidden in the alien symbols. The shocking truth they dig up is a complete rethink of everything humanity thought it knew about its origins and its place in the universe. The main revelation, as they interpret it from the Kestrel enigma, is this: humanity is not alone, and never has been. The symbols suggest a universe jam-packed with life, with civilizations rising and falling over time spans that make human history look like a blink of an eye. More specifically, they imply that Earth has been known, watched, and maybe subtly interacted with for thousands of years by one or more advanced extraterrestrial intelligences. These interactions weren't obvious, not godlike interventions that ancient cultures might have misunderstood, but more like scientific observation, or maybe anthropology on a cosmic scale. The Kestrel texts don't talk about building pyramids or directly handing over technology in some simplistic way. Instead, they hint at the sharing of foundational ideas, maybe mathematical principles, astronomical alignments, or philosophical thoughts about consciousness that might have been seeded or subtly introduced to various young cultures across the globe at different times. These seeds, the symbols suggest, could have then sprouted in unique ways, shaped by local environments and cultural paths, leading to those seemingly unexplainable jumps in knowledge or amazing constructions we see in some ancient civilizations. It's a more nuanced version of the ancient astronaut theory, not direct building but a subtle influence, an offering of knowledge that developing species could choose to take or leave, develop or misuse. The symbols also suggest that these observers operate under some kind of non-interference rule, or perhaps their interactions are so sophisticated and happen over such long periods that they were invisible to the civilizations being studied. They're pictured as galactic wanderers, keepers of cosmic history, maybe even guardians of a sort, watching over the delicate process of civilizations developing on countless worlds. One of the most unsettling parts of the Kestrel revelation for our fictional team is the idea of a galactic community, or at least a known network of advanced intelligences where humanity is currently an unaware and pretty primitive outsider. The symbols hint at communication networks, travel routes, and even rules of engagement on a cosmic scale that are way beyond what humans can currently grasp. The concept of galactic-scale energies, or cosmic cycles affecting civilizations, which was previously a fringe idea, is presented in the Kestrel text as a basic part of this wider cosmic environment, not as easily controlled energy sources, but as natural phenomena that advanced civilizations understand and navigate, much like we navigate weather or geological cycles. And then there's the big question: why was this chamber, this incredible library of knowledge, hidden underneath Observation Post Kestrel? The team figures that the base itself might have been built or significantly expanded because someone accidentally stumbled upon these alien artifacts earlier. This brings in the classic government cover-up idea. If such a discovery were made, the reasons for secrecy would be huge: potential for mass panic, the upheaval of existing religious and social structures, the immense military and technological implications if this alien knowledge could be weaponized or used. The very existence of Area 51 and the decades of secrecy around it, even if officially just about advanced aircraft, gives us a real-world example of how governments might react to something that completely changes our understanding of reality. Public opinion polls have shown that most people believe their governments would hide evidence of UFOs if they had it. While current official UAP reports from the Pentagon have clearly stated they've found no evidence of recovered alien tech or related cover-ups, the Kestrel narrative explores the what-if scenario where such a find was made and then hidden away. Our investigators realize that their discovery isn't just an archaeological or linguistic breakthrough. It's a potential trigger for a global crisis or a brand new era of understanding. The Kestrel symbols, silent for so long, now scream a truth that humanity might not be ready to hear. Our history isn't solely our own, and our future might depend on understanding our place in a much larger, older, and infinitely more complex cosmic story. The abandoned outpost, Kestrel, has unwillingly become the stage for humanity's most profound identity crisis. So, our fictional team of investigators, having pieced together this monumental, paradigm-shattering message from the Kestrel symbols, now faces an almost unbearable weight. What do they do with this knowledge? The truth they've uncovered, this story of ancient alien observation, subtle influence, and a vast, interconnected cosmic neighborhood, is too profound to keep locked away, yet potentially too disruptive to just release to the world. Picture them, huddled in their secret workspace, those complex alien symbols glowing on their screens, the sheer weight of their discovery pressing down on them. If their interpretation is even partially right, it means that human history, philosophy, religion, and science all need a complete rethink through a new, cosmic lens. The origins of myths, the inspirations behind ancient wisdom, those sudden leaps in technology or culture, all could be seen as ripples from these subtle ancient interactions. This scenario, born from our speculative dive into Observation Post Kestrel, really forces us to ask some fundamental questions. How would humanity actually react if a truth like this were revealed, not as some fringe theory, but as a verifiable fact? Would it bring us together, faced with the reality of a larger cosmic community? Or would it shatter our societies, turn our beliefs upside down, and lead to chaos? The very reasons a government might try to cover something like this up, as we explored in the Kestrel story, would suddenly become terrifyingly real. Fear of the unknown, the desire to control game-changing technology or knowledge, and the instinct to protect existing power structures. It's really important to say again that Observation Post Kestrel, its hidden chambers, and its alien symbols are a story, a thought experiment. As of 2025, there's no credible evidence of any such ancient alien chambers or encrypted messages being found at any abandoned or active military base. Archaeological finds at military sites, while sometimes pretty significant, point to human history, ancient settlements, battle sites, or historical buildings. The official word from groups like the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, is that despite ongoing investigations into UAPs, no evidence of extraterrestrial technology has been found, nor has any evidence of a government cover-up of such technology been proven. However, that pull of the unknown is always there, isn't it? The very fact that ARO and similar investigative groups exist around the world admits that there are things in our skies and waters that we just don't fully understand. While many UAP sightings are eventually identified as ordinary things like drones, balloons, or weird atmospheric effects, a small but persistent number remain unexplained, labeled as truly anomalous. These unsolved cases keep fueling both scientific questions and public curiosity. That desire to understand our place in the universe, to know if we're alone, is a deeply human thing. The Kestrel narrative, even though it's fiction, taps right into these deep-seated questions. It explores the what-if scenarios that pop up when unexplained phenomena, ancient mysteries, and that persistent human gut feeling that there might be more to our story than we're told all come together. The Giza pyramids, for example, while mainstream archaeology understands them as tombs built by the 4th dynasty Egyptians, keep inspiring alternative theories precisely because of their incredible engineering and astronomical alignments. Recent radar studies suggesting vast underground structures beneath Giza, while they definitely need more investigation and are waiting for official Egyptian approval to excavate, show how new discoveries can spark debate all over again and challenge long-held ideas, even if how we interpret them is still up for grabs. Our fictional investigators at Kestrel are left with an impossible choice, but their story acts as a kind of metaphor for humanity's own ongoing search for knowledge. We keep exploring, keep questioning, keep pushing the boundaries of what we understand. The universe is vast and history is layered with puzzles yet to be solved. The search for answers, whether it's in the ruins of an abandoned base, the texts of ancient civilizations, or signals from distant stars, never stops. So, what do you think? If proof of ancient extraterrestrial contact was discovered tomorrow, how would it change our world? What are the most compelling unexplained mysteries out there that you think really deserve a deeper look? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We honestly read them all. If this journey into the secrets of Observation Post Kestrel and the mystery of ancient alien signs has got you thinking, be sure to hit that like button. And for more deep dives into the unknown, unsolved mysteries, and explorations that challenge how we normally think, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Our exploration of Observation Post Kestrel has taken us deep under the earth, into a fictional story where encrypted alien signs revealed a mind-blowing narrative about humanity's past and our place in a much larger cosmic picture. We've traveled from the very real secrecy around places like Area 51 and the ongoing UAP investigations by world governments to a hypothetical discovery that, if it were real, would redefine life as we know it. While Kestrel and its unearthly symbols are firmly in the realm of speculative fiction today, remember, there's no credible evidence for such findings at any military installations, which are usually shut down for strategic or money reasons, and their archaeological discoveries are of a known historical type. The questions it brings up are timeless. The human spirit is all about relentless curiosity. We look at the stars, we dig into the ancient past, and we constantly try to understand the profound mysteries that surround us. The Pentagon's UAP reports might not have found evidence of alien tech, and mainstream archaeology offers solid explanations for ancient wonders like the Giza pyramids. Yet, the unexplained will always call to us. The allure of abandoned places, the mystery of the unknown, and that enduring possibility of something more will keep firing up our imaginations and driving our search for answers. The truth, as they say, is out there, and whether it's hidden in the depths of space, the sands of time, or the forgotten corners of our own planet, the quest to find it is one of humanity's greatest adventures. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Keep questioning, keep exploring,